Hello everyone, I am Surrendalt the Awesome, and I'm back, and I'm ready to look at some Star Wars Empire at War. And before I get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if I can't convince you, perhaps this picture of my cat will convince you. Without further ado, let's get into this. Star Wars Empire at War is an RTS that was released in 2007, and I was basically still in preschool. And it's an RTS where you can take control of units either on the ground to take over planets, or even in space, and you even get something really special in the Empire, but I'll get into that when I talk about the Empire. So today I decided to first start with the Rebel campaign, and where you basically build up the rebellion, and more or less at the end try to take on the Death Star. At least I try to, but it ends up destroying 3 planets. And, well, you first start by raiding the Kuat shipyards to get the Tyranny back there. Which, I gotta wonder, if you're, say, like, an Imperial captain, and, you just joined the Navy, you just graduated from the Academy, and you're assigned to captain a ship known as the Tyranny, what do you think to yourself? Would you think to yourself that, hey, I might be the bad guy here, but I also just love this cutscene here, so I'm just gonna play it.
So, what now? If the Tyranny is here, then it's not at its normal station, and the Tyranny is normally stationed at
Kuat? The Imperial shipyards?
Yes, I think we can get their attention. Okay. We have to cause as much destruction as we can, and be quick about it. 3PO?
Yes, sir.
Have R2 monitor Imperial comm channels and scan for any chatter about our mission. The alarm will sound almost immediately. Reinforcements won't be far behind. We've got to cause enough damage to get the Tyranny back here.
So our heroes, led by Antilles, that being this Antilles, not this one here, destroy most of the Kuat shipyards, or at least destroy enough of it to get the Tyranny back here, which leads to this cutscene here.
Kuat shipyard to all Imperial units. We are under siege by significant rebel forces. All ships in the area respond. Emergency code 0.
This is the Tyranny, responding to code 0. Be aware that you are altering the plans set by Lord Vader himself, and you will answer to him if this code has been invoked lightly.
Looks like we got their attention. Now let's get out of here.
But as it turns out, it's not quite as easy as they thought it would be, because the Tyranny basically put up a bunch of satellites in the Freyja system, so the rebels can't quite just pull a fast one and go get the X-Wings from there. So they have to go to Wayland to go get some codes to basically go right through the Freysian defenses to get the X-Wings. And then, after that, well, you have to escort the pilots from the landing zone on Freyja to the X-Wings, and then you gotta go take out some anti-aircraft guns to, get the X-Wings out. Which, I think it's a really cool mission. Well, both of those missions are really cool, because it basically makes it so that the rebellion has to more or less pick its targets wisely, or you could just do what I did and basically just take over Kuat, Kinda defeats the purpose of getting the Tyranny back there when I just decide to take it over. And also, it basically makes it seem like, yeah, the rebellion, after succeeding in getting the X-Wings, kinda has to more or less leave the Freysians to their fate, because, well, they can't really go and liberate them, as was said by Mon Mothma.
We cannot turn our back on those that helped us, but we cannot afford to attack the Empire head-on. The time may be right to strike against them in another way.
And the next mission is one where you go to the space above Kessel. I took over this planet after I was done during this mission, and where you basically take a bunch of Y-Wings and you more or less use the ion torpedoes on the Lambda shuttles to liberate the prisoners, and you also use Captain Antilles to get to the prisoners. Which, I like how this one more or less teaches you about another ability, or more or less has to make you use another ability to basically complete a mission, like using the ion torpedoes on, like, say, Imperial prison shuttles to, disable them before they can get out of the system. And so you can help rescue some people who might actually be helpful to the rebellion, like, say, some scientists. Another thing that I should probably mention about the rebels is how they can use R2-D2 and C-3PO to steal technology from the Imperials. And they can also do this in Forces of Corruption, which is something that I probably should have also mentioned. They can also do things like raid planets, more or less just taking the ground without having to engage in space battles, which, as you can see, I'm trying to do here, but I'm failing at it because I'm just auto-resolving and not joining in on the battles. And also because I don't really feel like doing the ground battles here, so that's probably why I just keep on losing. Anyways, the next mission is where you go to Kashyyyk to help a certain somebody liberate Wookiees, which I like this mission a lot, because it makes me feel like I am, doing some damage to the Empire and doing something that the Rebels would do, where I have to basically destroy 5 prisons and free the Wookiees. And I can even help them get weapons if I basically lead them to their trees, which I think is really cool. And also I can make this prison riot even more dangerous for the Empire. The next mission is the one where you try to prevent a pirate who turned on you from giving the location of your base to the Empire. And this one was actually really not that hard. I mean, if you have a large enough fleet, it is actually incredibly easy. Especially if you prioritize Y-wing bombers, then it is actually ridiculously easy. And I actually took out the Star Destroyer pretty quickly. And the interdictors were not really much of a problem for me, even though that, I guess I maybe was overbuilding fighters and bombers and also capital ships, so I guess that's kind of why it wasn't really that hard for me, with me just donking on the Empire and this pirate. The next mission was actually done and over with so quickly that I almost forgot to put it in. It was ridiculously easy. Basically, you have to prevent Han Solo from getting boarded by the Imperials, or at least prevent the Star Destroyer from taking him to the Empire station there. And I got it done and over with within literally minutes. True, I was on, the max speed, but as you can probably see from this here, it was done and over with so quickly that, I'm already done. It was that easy. The next mission, on the flip side, however, was so difficult, it actually took me, I think it was 3, 4, 5 tries. In concept, the mission is pretty simple. Basically, what you have to do is you have to go search through a bunch of these here, and you kind of have to more or less hold the Falcon steady. It sounds easy, but it actually is really difficult when, you accidentally get caught and only, the entire Empire is on you at that point. And, you've only got one ship, and, that's not gonna hold up against, the entire Empire. This one took me so many tries that, I was actually attempting almost to just do safe scamming, but I ultimately did it. I just retried and kind of just suffered for all of you. And the next mission is actually one that is really cool. Basically, the premise is that after you took an EMP from the last mission to this place here, all the ships are basically just frozen in time, and more or less where you have to use your fleet to defend, you have to defend these ships here from the ships that are starting to wake up. And I like how it starts with the small ships, the corvettes, getting their power back online, as you can see here, to then it goes to the big ships, and then the bigger ships, and also where the crew does rescue Akbar. This one was really cool and probably one of my favorite ones. I guess I can also suggest that you maybe, I don't know, destroy those ships before they wake up, but that's just what I feel. I still really like this one here. The next mission was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. So basically, you have to take Han Solo and Chewbacca and take them to the armory to get some information on the Death Star. And it's only just Han Solo and Chewbacca, but surprisingly enough, the mission was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I mean, there's quite a lot of opportunities where you could just steal units from your enemies, and surprisingly enough, a lot of build-it pads to, you know, get some med stuff, and also to help rebuild your vehicles, which Chewbacca could steal, and I like this mission too, although I will say that it did take me quite a bit of time to actually complete, so that's just my personal gripe with the mission. The next mission, or mission, in air quotes, is basically where you have to take command of a fleet and destroy a massive Imperial fleet led by Captain Piet, and I like this one as well. It basically is more or less, this is the first time that the Rebel Alliance, or at least in-game, should be able to realistically stand up to the Empire. Although if you're me, you practically have been stomping all over them, and yeah, it also shows that the Rebellion is actually capable of beating the Empire in a toe-to-toe campaign. Like this one here, where I just absolutely curb-stomped Piet with little to no effort. And it also does segue nicely into the final mission with the Death Star. Now, with the Death Star, I have one big problem with it, and that is I kinda need Luke to be alive to destroy it, but in my first attempt, I ended up accidentally getting Luke killed, and I couldn't complete the mission. And also, the Death Star ended up casually murdering quite a few other planets, and I couldn't really do a thing about it, and that's kind of my biggest problem with the last part, is that I could literally do everything perfectly, but if I lost Luke Skywalker trying to, you know, destroy an Imperial fleet before I can destroy the Death Star, yeah, that is kind of a problem. But other than that, I liked the Rebel campaign, and I think it is very well done, despite some problems and some missions being a little more difficult than they needed to be. And I will be honest, on my first attempt to try to destroy the Death Star, I kinda only ended up losing like 3 planets before I ended up destroying it, or at least before Red 5 ended up respawning. And I think with that, that's going to do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.